The difference between the coaches who get consistent clients and make bank and those who struggle and chase every single lead, wondering where the next client is going to come from, are three crucial elements. And the coaches who use them win, and those who don't lose. It's that simple. And in this video, I'm going to break down what those elements are and how you can systematically install each of them into your business. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first thing is your offer. You want something that's easy to say yes to, something that people actually want, so you don't need to persuade or convince or beg people to buy. So if you think about Porsche, for an example, when people go into a Porsche dealership, they actually want the product. Whether they can afford it or not is besides the point. They actually want the product. So it's something that people want and something that's easy for them to say yes to. Same with something like selling a Rolex, or even not that expensive. But when people want to buy something, it's easier than you having to convince them on why they should buy it and why this is the right thing for them. So if you look at all big companies, they do this. They sell things that people already want. And it's simply the job of marketing and sales to get people in front of your offer who want it and people who want to say yes to it. You shouldn't be having this tug of war with people. And when you have a really good offer, the right people will come in front of it and they will want to buy it. So if you think about your offer, if you think about your whole business like a car, the offer is the oil that makes it run. Without the oil, the car is absolutely useless. And if you think about also another analogy of a bucket, so your offer is the bucket, okay? If your offer has holes in it and your bucket has holes in it, it's just going to leak water. It's not good. So you want to think, how do you know your offer's good? Well, firstly, it's something people want, and it also doesn't have these holes in it. Holes in your offer look like people not getting results, not getting referrals, and something where it's just too complex to explain. Simple offers scale. So I'm sure none of my audience here, I'm sure none of you eat this processed nonsense food. But if you have, right, take a look at the box or take a look at some kind of tin or can and look at the back, and you just see this massive nutrition label of like 50 different ingredients. That's what a not good offer looks like. A good offer should be very easy to explain. Simply saying to the prospect, you want this and you need this. This is how our offer helps with that. Do you want it? That's as simple as it should be. And when you have a good offer, it should be easy for people to say yes to. You should get results and referrals. So if I look at our offer, for example, you've probably seen on other videos where I've shared a lot of case studies, a lot of client results. So people are getting results. So that's a good offer. And also when people get results, they even refer us to their friends. They send other business owners to us. So that's how I know the offer is working well. So if you're not getting that kind of feedback from your offer where people are easily saying yes, they're getting results and they're sending referrals, then you probably need to tweak a few things. The second element is your sales process. So you want a predictable, consistent sales mechanism that you can sell to people over and over again. So that could be a VSL call funnel. That could be selling in the DMs. That could be selling on a workshop. That could be selling on a webinar, a 5-day challenge. What you want to do is you want to have one that you pick and one that you optimize for and really dial in. I see coaches trying to use multiple of these, and it might make sense. You think, okay, well, if I use multiple, I'm going to get more people. But the problem is you don't really dial one in. And honestly, if you're under $1 million a year, I think you should only have one conversion mechanism that you really lock in on before you add more. And what this does, it's once you run enough trials, you know what works. You know what to put. Let's say you're doing a call funnel. You get good and you know what questions to ask on your intake form. You know how to run the sales process. You know how to get past certain things. That's what you want to do. And if you think about sales, there's really 3 phases to it. There's pre-sales, there's sales, and post-sales. So in your sales process, it's all 3. The pre-sales, you should know what kind of things you're including in your VSL. What kind of case studies are you sharing before the call? What kind of emails are they getting? Are they seeing information about your offer? What's on your thank you page, on your confirmation page before they attend the call? Then on your sales process, if you've done your job right and they show up and they know most of the important things, then you're just simply walking them through, hey, this is what you wanted. This is what you want to solve. This is how we solve it. You can have that real conversation with them. And when you do it right, this pretty much becomes a case of just seeing if it's the right fit for them and for you. If it is, you move ahead. If not, you don't. No problem. And then the post-sales process is follow-ups. So this is also important. It's still in the sales process because some people might not start right now. It might not be for them. They might be ready in the future. You might have left some unqualified people in the pipeline there. So then you do your follow-ups and you can claw back maybe a deal, 2 deals, 5 deals a month, depending on the size of your pipeline. And I know a lot of sales trainers will talk about objections. Honestly, I think that is just something that's been thrown into this industry that's not really needed. Because if you're getting objections, your marketing hasn't done its job. Honestly, you should only be selling to people who are willing and able. So if people don't have the funds, no problem, but why are you talking to them, right? They shouldn't be coming to buy from you. They should be in your pipeline and only book when they can. Or if it's not the right time for them, forget this coaching industry for a minute. Would you go and look at houses if you're ready to buy a house in 18 months? No, you wouldn't. You would go and look when you're looking to buy the house and when you actually have the funds to buy the house. So I don't think you should be really handling a ton of objections. I think that's just poor marketing. There are some real objections that come up, absolutely, but not these big ones. It should be small things, small pieces, maybe something logistical. And then another thing in your sales process is going to be speed to lead as well. So when somebody opts in and they want to speak to you and they want to get their problem solved and maybe have a call with you, but let's say that call's 6 days out, they're going to lose the urgency. They may even forget. It's not going to be as urgent in their mind. Sometimes people even forget when or why they booked the call. So you want to have speed to lead. When somebody opts in, get them the resources. Maybe that's an email. Maybe that's a text message. Maybe that's a call. Maybe that's a pre-call asset. Just get that to them, speed to lead. And by the way, if this is making sense to you so far and you want my direct help installing this process, link is in the description. And finally, we move on to element number 3, the marketing process. So if you think about marketing and sales kind of like a seesaw, okay? Good marketing makes sales easy. Bad marketing makes sales hard. So if you think about marketing, what we want it to be, we want marketing to be the fat kid. If you've ever played seesaw in the playground, the fat kid comes along and just puts all the weight down. It makes sales easy. So in the sales section, I talked about pre-sales, sales, and post-sales, but I look at marketing as pre-sales. The job of marketing is to generate qualified leads and also framed leads. That's what a lot of people miss out. So what do I mean by both of those? Well, qualified, most marketers do a terrible job of qualifying. They think just ticking a few boxes or answering a couple questions means they're qualified. Qualified means they are willing and they're able. So in terms of buying a high-ticket coaching program, they are willing. This is an outcome they actually want. They actually want to receive this outcome and they want some help doing it. You're not just getting them on the call to try and bamboozle them or to fight against them. So that's willing and able. So they're able in terms of the funding, they're able to actually make it happen and they're able to do it from a time standpoint or whatever else that looks like for you. So if they're on like a 4-month holiday around the world right now and they can't do it, well, then it's not the right time. They're not able in that case. Or if you're selling a fitness coaching program, they have a broken leg, they can't start it right now. So your marketing should make sure people are willing and able and also framed properly. This is one that most marketers miss. Framing means letting them know what to expect. Again, so you don't just bewilder them or bamboozle them or just try and create friction. So if somebody comes to a call and they genuinely just think it's, I'm just going to get some information and then sounds good and you say, it'll be $10,000. And they didn't even know there was an investment to be made and you didn't qualify properly, they may just say, well, I wish I knew it was, 10 grand. I wouldn't have even booked the call in the first place. So you want to actually frame it so people know and it doesn't create unnecessary friction. They know this is what's going to happen on the call. This is what we're going to go through. If things are right, we will make you an offer. They should know that. So I think it's very respectful as well. So qualify them and frame them properly. And that is simply the job of sales and marketing, is to balance that seesaw. The better you are at marketing, the easier sales is. People think the job of sales is to tie people down and fight them with objections and keep this checklist you can use against people. That's not the job of sales. That just means you have poor marketing. When your marketing has done the heavy lifting and people are qualified, they are framed, they know what to expect, you know what happens? You get serious people showing up. You don't get curious people, you get serious people showing up to your conversion mechanism. I love my curious people all the same, but it's not the right time to talk to us about sales conversation. If they're curious, guess what? They can go through my content, they can go through my VSL, they can go through my emails, they can go through my group, they can go through information that's up front, they can get multiple touch points from me, they can see my stories. That will scratch their itch for curiosity. When they're serious, that's when they take the step into the sales conversation. And if you've had this happen, let me know in the comments, but I'm sure you have if you've done these things right. When people show up on the call, they pretty much treat you like a celebrity. They are excited to speak to you. They already know you. They like you. They trust you. They've spent hours binging your content and they see you as like a micro celebrity. And that's good because then they're willing to comply with your instructions. They don't just sit there and try and take the call off on a tangent. They really respect you and let you lead. So this might sound good, but there's a big problem. Us as marketers, we prioritize for efficiency. Actually, I'll just say it. We prioritize for laziness, right? And I think laziness and efficiency, however you want to call it, I think it's actually very good. But you have to earn the right to be lazy, in my mind. So once you have something locked in and dialed in and it's really producing results, then you can start to systemize. Then you can start to leverage. Then you can start to automate. Then you can start to be lazy. But until that point, your greatest advantage, being smaller than that, is that you can personalize. So if you're not doing 50, 100, 200K months, if you're under that amount, you have an advantage there. Because the businesses doing those 6-figure months and 7-figure months, they probably can't personalize everything to everyone. And even if they can, it's usually not the face of the company or the coach that's able to do that. But if you're booking, let's say 7, 8, 10 calls a week and you're doing like 20, 30K a month or maybe even lower or somewhere around that, you can personalize things. Let's say John books a call. How hard is it to pick up your phone and send a voice note? Hey, John, just saw you booked a call for Friday. Very excited to talk to you, mate. You should have an email with these things. Please go through that before the call. And I'm just reviewing your application. I look forward to talking to you. How hard is that? Or even better, pull out your phone and do a selfie video. It takes 20 seconds. You can even have a script you read the same every time, but it's personalized to the person. 20 seconds. You do that 10 times a week. That's 200 seconds. What's that, like 3 minutes, 20 seconds? That's nothing, right? So make sure you personalize. Don't be lazy because you have to earn that laziness. So I just laid it out for you there. Those are the 3 systems you need. But how do you make them all flow together into one organic marketing engine that takes people from cold to sold so that you can actually build at scale and hit 5 to 6-figure months consistently? Well, watch this video next and I'll explain to you exactly how to do that. I'll see you there.